Brahma-jijñāsā. That is Sanskrit term, which means, Brahm means spiritual, Jijñāsā means inquiry, questions, spiritual inquiries. So, in our modern world, now in this civilization, we are born, when we are born, we are told, okay, now you do this, now you study, now you work, now you do, we just follow everything as we are told. But we notice some people, people question, why are we doing this, why are we doing that? So actually doubt, there's a saying, doubt is a sign of intelligence. When we question, why are we doing it like this? Why are we accepting things like this? This is actually a sign of intelligence, inquiring mind. There's a saying, now think out of the box. So, but for most people, they just follow. They are not much into inquiring because our education system and our civilization now currently doesn't encourage questioning. Brahma-jijñāsā, spiritual inquiries are not encouraged. Have you ever seen sheep? When sheep are herded, sheep have one tendency. If you take one of the sheep and take it one way, they'll all follow. If they don't know where they're going, they'll just follow. They're going, where are they going? They're going to the slaughterhouse. They'll follow because that sheep is in front. And so this term has been coined, sheep, that people who are just following without any question. Sheep, it's like sheep. So humans are different. They're meant to be different. Human being has a big brain compared to animals. There are many different animals, but animals cannot really, they cannot go further than eating, sleeping. They can't think further. Human beings have the capacity to go deeper. They are different. So we have a capacity to ask, what happens after death? Why was I born? Why am I suffering? And we are, where is it going? We are advancing. People are saying we're advancing. There's advancement happening. Advance in Hitopadesh. It's part of the Vedas. So there it's mentioned, Ahara bhaya nidra maitunyam cha samanyam hi etad pashubir naranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubir samana. What does this mean? The four things which are common in humans and animals. Ahara, bhaya, nidra, maitunyam. Eating, sleeping, mating, having sexual relations. Ahara, bhaya, nidra, maitunya, and bhaya. Protection from dangerous situations. So, this is common in animals. We see animals do that. Humans also do that. So it says, Samanyam hi etat pashubir narana. They're the same. But dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesha. There is something which is different in humans. They have a capacity to inquire dharma, to practice. That's why they have such a powerful brain. The power of discrimination and intelligence. They have to question. So, dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesha. They have special, they're inquiring the wrong thing. Of course, we have to inquire that. But inquiry here means spiritual inquiry. Spiritually questioning the thing in such a way that we get the maximum benefit. I can ask questions that will improve my life. I can ask those questions, but I need to pick the question and ask the question to solve all my problems at once. So for that I need knowledge. So knowledge will come, but we have to seek now. We have to seek it. We have to come to a point when we are asking the questions. Questions. Who am I? We may come to a very high state of education. If we don't know that, then what do we know? What is our position? Why is there suffering and how to stop it? How to become happy? What happens after death? Who is God? So now which knowledge? Which philosopher is discussing it? Where in the newspaper, every day we are seeing so many things, where they are discussing this? Where is it in the online forum, social media? No one is asking this question. This is the first question to ask. It's called Brahma-jijñāsā. According to Vedic culture, human life begins when we ask this question. Otherwise, it's not human life. Because we have such a big arrangement in this city and all over the world. But what is it? Simply 4 things, if you analyze. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defense. 4 things, arrangement is given. Now, if the arrangement is given in a very nice way, now good facility for eating, for sleeping, then it's called advanced, developed country. But that is not developed. Developed is spiritual development. So we didn't solve the problem. Brahma-jijñāsā, this was practiced. Spiritual inquiry, from young age, these things were taught. Spiritual inquiry is the best inquiry to make that benefits us and benefits other people. Within the Vedas, the Bhagavad Puran is the highest of is known as the Akhila Shruti Saram, the essence of the Vedas. Bhagavad Puran is compiled, it's compiled by Vyasadeva, and it gives the whole Vedic knowledge in 18,000 verses, in very direct way. So Bhagavatam also gives the goal of life. This is difficult to find in other Puranas. Actual deep spiritual knowledge is not in all the Puranas, because there's a reason. They are not 100% aimed at liberation, but Bhagavatam is, Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam explains the goal of life. There in one verse it says that Kamasa Nendya Priti Labha. Some people think that this is meant for enjoyment. Of course, we have to enjoy, we have to be happy. But they are saying, some people say, goal of life is enjoy the senses. But Bhagavatam is saying, Kamasa Nendriya Priti Labho Jivita Yavata, which means our well-being, yes, and then Jivasa Tattva Jijñāsā. Jiva, soul, should do Tattva Jijñāsā, inquire into the absolute truth. This is the purpose of human life. Human life should be oriented in this way. Of course, other things we're doing, we should do. But the goal should be understood. Finally, everything should be guided on this point of realization. Tattva Jijñāsā, also same as Brahma-jijñāsā. Truth. Brahm is spirit, supreme personality of Godhead. Who is He? How are we related to Him? How did He create everything? To inquire. So, the human form of life is meant for this. Animals are not meant for this. You see, animals have very powerful senses to do things we cannot do. They have more strength than us. Their lives are meant for that. But our life is not meant for that. We may do this, but the goal of human life is we have to use our senses intelligence to realize the absolute truth. And if we don't do that, we cannot be happy. Because we are in a situation now, if we find out from the Bhagavad Gita, that our identity is that spiritual in nature, but we are in a material world. Happy. the soul and the spirit and matter cannot mix. We cannot be peaceful in a material environment. The exception is if Atma, soul, is living in a spiritual world, we are not disturbed to come to this life. Currently we are living like this as if I'm born first time and I'm living in this world, I want to try everything. Actually we have taken birth many times. Many births we have taken. Krishna told Arjuna in chapter 4, Bahuni me vyatithani janmani tavacha Arjuna. That Arjuna, me and you, we have both taken many births. Ham veda sarvani natvam veda parantapa. We know this famous verse that used to come in the beginning of Mahabharata, Yada yadai dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. That whenever the dharma, then Krishna appears. When he appears, dharma samsthapanartha, he comes to establish dharma. So he has come many times. But he cannot remember. Anyway, we have taken many births. And in these births, every birth we're trying to be happy. But when we change the body, we forget everything. So that search is on. And if we are fortunate, if we in past life, then we are born into the Vedic culture, into the Sanatan Dharma, which today this word is used Hindu, but actually in Shastra it's Sanatan Dharma, Varnashram Dharma. So then we have access to the Vedas. Knowledge about God in this planet. But the deepest, most knowledge is given in the Vedas. In the Vedas, we have the 4 Vedas. Who will say one? What is the Veda? Next. Sam. And Atharva. Okay. These 4 Vedas, each are divided into 4. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. Each of the Vedas is divided in 4. Out of these 4 divisions, the Upanishads, they contain the most highest level of knowledge directly aimed at self-realization, nature of absolute truth, our relation to the absolute. So that is Upanishads. In fact, this word Upanishad means, Upa means near. Upanishad means sit near the Guru. You cannot read on your own. You have to hear from the Guru when you study. So the Upanishad is the highest part of the Vedas. Vedas, he also sutra. Has everyone heard of that? Vedanta. This word Vedanta, if you look at it, Vedanta. Ant means end or conclusion. Ant. Vedant means the conclusion of the Vedas. The highest part of the Veda, the final message of the Vedas. So Vedanta Sutra is the essence of the Upanishads. Upanishads are the highest, I mentioned. Knowledge, it's put in Vedanta. And Vedanta explains the absolute truth in a logical and through logic and reason. Actually, this is mentioned even in Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Rishibir Bahuda Gitam Chando Bir Vivide Pitak Brahma Sutra Padayischeva Hetu Madbir Vinishchitai. In chapter 13, Krishna is about to tell Arjuna deeper knowledge about Atma, Paramatma and some deeper high. That I am speaking about the Vedanta Sutra, also known as Brahma Sutra, the highest part of Vedas, essence of Upanishads. What is the opening line of Vedanta Sutra? The opening line is Athato Brahma-jijñāsā. Athato, this is in Sanskrit, means now. Atha, now. Many different births, I said. And after many, many births, then he takes birth in Vedic culture, in Sanatan Dharma. Then he gets the Vedas. Then he gets Vedanta and opens and it's written there. Now, inquire into the Absolute. But what is the meaning of this statement? If we study on means, speaking to the Jiva, that you Jiva, now you've taken so many births, you went to Swarga, you went to Narak, then you came back, and it's 84 lakh species. You took so many births, millions of births. Now you have taken birth here and you have opened the Vedanta and you are saying, now inquire into the Absolute. Now find out about Brahma and finish the cycle of birth and death. This is the message of the Veda, of Vedanta. The opening line directly brings the reader to the point that now inquire into Absolute Truth. Try to find out the message of the Vedas. Find out why you took birth. Find out what is the goal of life about God. Athato Brahma-jijñāsā. Now we may think that is Brahma-jijñāsā, that is in Vedanta. Now question is, where is Vedanta? Who is teaching it? Where can we read it? We didn't lose anything. Actually, 6% of Vedas are remaining. If we add up all the shlokas in every of the Shruti and Smriti, 6% remain today. But Vyasadeva, understanding our position, that we Jivas in Kali Yuga, we will not have time, energy, or even attention span, intelligence, anything to practice self-realization. It will be very difficult to do anything dharmic. So he took that Vedanta Sutra and compiled Srimad Bhagavatam, which is nothing but Vedanta Sutra in a different form, which is easy to read for us. Vedanta is not possible for us to read, very difficult. The Sanskrit is a very high level and it's written in sutras. Sutra means it's a short sentence containing deep meaning which we will not understand unless we studied whole life in Gurukul, in the traditional system. That is Vedanta Sutra. It will give us the highest knowledge, but we cannot have access to it. So the same Vedanta is Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Puran contains the Vedanta knowledge, and therefore it's known as Bhashyam Brahma Sutranam. Other Puranas glorified Bhagavatam as Bhashyam Brahma Sutranam. This is the essence of the Vedanta Sutra. Inquiries should be directed, and the Vedas contain deep knowledge about this. Vedas are full of conversations where sadhus and kings, they're inquiring from others with higher knowledge. Like Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, mostly Rajarshis, Rajas, they are inquiring from sadhus and asking questions, like Bhagavad Gita. What happens in Bhagavad Gita? That he knew the dharma, the codes, he knew everything. All of us, this will happen sometime or other. We hit a roadblock in life. What do we do? What is the next step? What shall we do? We can't figure out. He said, Yat Shreya Nishchitam Bruhitan Me Shishya Sen. I cannot figure it out. Shishyasteham. I am your disciple now. Shadhiman Tvam Prapannam. I surrender to you. Give me the knowledge. So then Krishna spoke the knowledge by which Arjuna got enlightened. He got back his intelligence. He very clearly understood what to do. So Vedas explain. They are asking questions. Personalities give them knowledge. An example for us. So for that, we have to understand clearly what is our purpose in life, where we are going, where we came from, what is our duty. We cannot be happy otherwise. If we don't know why we came, who we are, then we can consciousness. It will be at the back. Even now, maybe it's not at the front. What is going on? Why are people so cruel? Why is there suffering? Why am I born? The questions are there. But how do the answers come? Shastra. Shastra, Guru and Sadhu. But the Guru and the Sadhu, they are not independent. They are Guru and Sadhu because they follow Shastra. That is their qualification. If we approach a personality who has Brahmanishtham, who's fixed in absolute truth, who studies it, reads and teaches, and we ask spiritual questions. Sutta Goswami was asked by Shaunak Rishi that there. So please tell us what was spoken. Then they asked many questions. So when Sutta Goswami began to speak his questions, Bhavadbi Loka Mangalam, but by your questions, knowledge will be given which is good for everybody. Yatkita Krishna samprashno yena atma suprasidati. You have questioned me. Can satisfy everybody. Yena atma suprasidati. Identity and our duty. So, how people should be. Traditionally, what was the family unit? It's changing. But no one knows what should it be. Shall we keep that old system or this new system where everyone is independent and equal, do what you want? But they don't know. But because if we don't consult Shastra, then we cannot know. Everyone will have opinion, their opinion. But how can we trust someone's opinion? He's a normal man. But Shastra is perfect. So in case we decide, I want to come to a level of knowledge and peace. Therefore, if I want to know about law, something, I won't go to an engineer, isn't it? Or I won't go to a chemist. Or I won't go to a maybe mechanic if I want to know about law. Similarly, if I want to know medicine, I won't go to the civil engineer. Look, medical issues, I have to go to a qualified person. That person, we can mention there are people who will know it best. Sadhu. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So, that we are. So if you want to know God, we have to become a devotee like Arjuna. We become spiritual. The sun, there are people living. There are people, there are cities. But everything is made of fire. Soil. So the bodies are underwater, water is predominating. So the sun planet, one can go there, but they have to have a fire body. So similarly, if we want to understand Brahma-jnān, we have to be Brahman. We have to become spiritualized. That is a qualification. Initially we may inquire something. I want to know this and that question, but finally we want to go to the truth of the matter. Everything can be revealed. Or, okay, transcendental knowledge. It's titled Transcendental Knowledge, Jnana Yoga. So, in that chapter, Krishna is going to explain how to get transcendental knowledge, Divya Jnana. So before speaking that, he gives the history. He says to Arjuna, Vivasvan imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyam vivasvan manave praha manu ikshvakavi. And Manu spoke to Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku is here on our planet. Then the knowledge came in. Then he said, Evam parampara praptam Imam Rajarshayo Viduhu. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita came in Guru Parampara. It came in disciplic succession, and that's how people understood it. Then he said, Sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. He said to Arjuna, after long time, Sakale neha mahata yogo nashta. That knowledge, that science, that of how we can connect to the Supreme Personality, that science was lost. Yogo nashta parantapa. Then he told Arjuna, Samaya evate adhya yoga prokta puratana. Now I am telling you that knowledge which was lost. I came back. Krishna says, he said, Yada idai dharmasya, that when dharma, knowledge decreases, then he says, I come. Tadadmanam sajamiham. I appear to dharma samsthapanarthaya. So Krishna had come again. He's speaking to Arjuna. That he says that Samaya evate adhya yoga prokta purata. Now I am speaking that knowledge to you. Why? Why to Arjuna? Why is he speaking to Arjuna? He says, Samaya evate adhya yoga prokta puratana samhi etad uttamam. He said to Arjuna, because you're cheti and you're my friend. Rahasyam hi etad uttamam. Therefore you will be able of Divyagyan, this spiritual knowledge that Arjuna you will be able to understand. So the qualification we understand from Bhagavad Gita, from that those 4.1 telling us that the adhikar for us to get spiritual knowledge, if we want to inquire, is one has to take a position as a devotee of Krishna. When one becomes a devotee, all the senses become spiritualized. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. Nirmalam. All the material qualities of the senses disappear, they become spiritual. In that sense, in that case, we'll be able to understand the teachings. Otherwise, it's not easy to understand teachings of Gita and Shastra. But if one has to come on that position, and so to come on that bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. To understand me in truth, Arjun, bhaktya mam abhijanati, you have to practice bhakti. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato tattvato gyatva vishate tad anantaram. And once you understand me, vishate tad anantaram, you can attain the kingdom of God. We can attain Vaikuntha by understanding God, just by understanding. We cannot fully understand, but whatever Krishna reveals, if we know God, then we can go back. We can escape this cycle of birth and death. So again we are looking at qualifications to understand this knowledge. Again in chapter 9 of Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that I am going to speak this most confidential knowledge, Raja Guhya. He says that idam tute guhyatamam pravakshami anasuyave. The very guhya means confidential knowledge. Why are we saying this is confidential? Because it's not easy to get. I have heard anywhere, but it's very difficult. In this creation of this universe, it's not easy to get knowledge of God and how to get out. That is confidential. That's difficult to get. You'll get knowledge of how to enjoy, how to do this, but that is all binding to this world. Now the knowledge to come out, that is very difficult to get. Why? People don't want it. It's not available. It's not available. People are not seeking it. But Arjuna was seeking. And Krishna spoke to him. But again in this verse he's saying why he's speaking to Arjuna. He says that idam tute guhyatamam pravakshami. I'm speaking to you this confidential knowledge how to come out of material world and pravakshami anasuyave. Most of us, all of us, according to the Upanishads, it explains that we were not here. Originally we are from Vaikuntha. But we turned away from serving Krishna or serving Vishnu. Therefore we descended here. Actually, why? That was a form of envy. Envy that he is supreme, I want to be supreme. But that's not possible. Our constitutional position is to serve. And actually, it is something to be considered low. But to serve the other one better. So when our consciousness changes, not to serve but to be master, then we descend to this material world. So having descended to this material world, we are simply taking birth again and trying to play the part of enjoyer and controller. This is the material world. Material life means trying to seek out enjoyment for this body and for this world. But Bhagavad Gita said it does not exist. That's illusion, that I will get it. The only happiness exists is when we again come back to our position as servant of God. So in chapter 9.1, Krishna tells Arjuna, God, that's why we came here. But anasuya way, Arjuna is not envious. Therefore, he says, that jnana vijnana sahitam yajgyatva moksha se shubhat. Now I will give you that knowledge by which moksha se ashubhat, you will be relieved from material suffering. Our material suffering, Bhagavad Gita says, root cause is avidya, absence of knowledge of our real position as soul. Be as an enjoyer. So that avidya is making us to suffer. But Krishna is saying position and you will not suffer. And act in that position as a soul. Shastra. Now at the moment we all live in this world, supposing I say now I want to inquire about absolute truth. One option is you can ask somebody, but that person should be reading from Shastra. He should be basing his life on Shastra. Because Shastra, it says in Vedanta Sutra, Shastra yonitvat. Shastra is the center. Why is a guru known as a guru? Because he is teaching Shastra. Not just like that. Many people posing as gurus today, they are not. Even 1 millimeter towards Krishna or towards liberation. They cannot. Because they are not following the guidelines. And people don't know the guidelines, so they don't know that they are not following the guidelines. The guru is known as a guru because he is teaching Shastra, and sadhu is known as a sadhu. So it has to be on this platform. The intelligent way to live in this life is we have to solve the problem. We have problem. Problem is I'm suffering, I'm not happy. So we are trying to adjust on material level. But through intelligence, we should analyze. Study Bhagavad Gita. Try to understand, ask questions. Through Shastra, we can solve the problem. Shastra is very vast, but for us today, all acharyas say that Bhagavad Gita is the main. It's the preliminary study of spiritual knowledge. After that, Srimad helping us to understand these two books. But Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, this is meant for us for Kali Yuga. If we study these two texts, as Srila Prabhupada said, these two books are sufficient suffering to come to level of happiness and peace. So guidance is given there. And we have taken the human form of life with intelligence. We should apply the intelligence carefully for this. Of course, we have to apply and live our life and work. That is, of course, there. That is Labho Jivata Yavata. We have to live in this world, so we are working, we are supporting ourselves. But in our life, everyone should also be making these inquiries and gradually trying to understand God. This is called Brahma-jijñāsā. Brahma-jijñāsā is the stage of human life. So in the Vedic age, they measured a society or person, they measured their level of civilization based on how much they are engaging in the spiritual activities, not on their capacity of material wealth or whatever possessions they had. So in order for us to be, finally, we may take many births to realize, but to become happy, peaceful, we have to solve the question of who am I, why am I born, what is my duty, constitutional position. This is also why these answers, it's a very long answers, but I'm giving you, these are the questions we should ask. Of course, we'll be discussing this every Sunday in systematic portions. Hare Krishna. Is there any question? Okay, so we can end here. Okay, Hare Krishna. So we'll end. Hare Krishna.